So let's talk about evolving, AI and accounts payable. Not surprising, 74% of AP professionals still name manual data entry as their number one process challenge, and so that's really still, top of mind. So really, the big benefit to technology and accounts payable, in my mind, is it helps us prevent our folks from doing non-value add activities so they can spend more time on value add activities such as building relationships with customers and empowering us to take more control over how and when we make those payments. And so really how AI can assist us, right? The results, right? More time for high value add tasks. If you've never done it, it's an interesting exercise. If you're the AP leader, treasurer, controller, ask your folks how much time they spend on certain non-value activities, and you'll probably be a little bit surprised. And so one of the reasons I believe AI should be your best friend as this technology is it allows you to spend more time on things such as strategic financial planning. What I mean by that is we need to make data-driven decisions, right, about when we're making payments and how we're making payments. And so strategic financial planning to me is a lot of it is focused in working capital management. So we should be collaborating from AP with Treasury and Finance to see when are we making payments. Do we have discounts available? Are we taking those discounts? Do we have room to negotiate discounts? And those are incredibly powerful opportunities. It almost always makes sense to take a discount. And then, of course, vendor management is important, and that relationship starts right out of the gate. So the better relationships that we have, right, the more control we have over payments, and also we can be collaborative with our clients in first how we make payments. And so checks are very costly and they have a lot of risk exposures compared to electronic payments. And then of course we have a lot of new electronic payments such as virtual cards and ghost cards, and those are things that can offer us rebates if we collaborate with our customers. But we always want to make sure that we are providing great service to our vendors, because as we have seen, there are a lot of supply chain management issues going on, so we want to be able to rely on our suppliers. And to me, what technology does is allows us to build relationships, and so we'll get to AI, but first of all, it gives us visibility into a 360 degrees of all that's going on in accounts payable, our relationships. It also helps us remove asymmetries of information we have with our suppliers. So possibly we can get them into a portal so that we can see the same thing that they're seeing. And so a lot of issues are caused by asymmetries of information. And then for me, on a good relationship building side, is that one of the things we'll talk about, and Nico will show us, is that when you on the invoice side, there are certain things, right? Certain things that we want to change, but we might not want to. Might not want to be able to change in terms of templates. And if we keep making some manual interventions in there, AI is helping us learn, right, and do a better job. And so it sees things that we're doing and can help make us more efficient. So again, I would say it starts with vendor relationship management, and then that facilitates relationship building, and then the better relationships that we have, the better we can do at strategic planning and optimizing that working capital with our folks in Treasury. So real high level, right? Just kind of talk about all these areas. You have invoice automation, right? Goes to invoice matching, payment automation, expense management. So that invoice automation, right? The AI helps us do that in a manner that's consistent with the workflow and the extraction of that information, right? As that invoice comes in, like I said, if we keep seeing the same formatting issues with the supplier, and they might not be able to change that format, we may be able to use AI to automatically fix it. It helps us route that, helps us not touch it, helps us with that straight through processing at all. We could do a whole webinar on invoice matching, those of us in manufacturing on the PO side. And then in terms of payment automation, setting up those rules, setting up that workflow. And then on the other side of it, also on the expense management front, as well. We'll touch real quick on AI and fraud detection. Sometimes we have to use a little bit of I'd say fear tactics, right, for our CFOs. But really, the news is that fraud in AP is here to stay. It's as strong as ever. So just one thing that'll open your eyes. A typical organization can lose 5% of its fraud every year. The median loss is $125,000. So that should get folks' attention. And then recent research by Strategic Treasurer, 73% of organizations, by the time surveyed, I think it was over the last 12 months, have been impacted by fraud. We're also seeing the frequency of fraud go up. And I believe with AFP, it's really close. I think paper checks are still the most common source of fraud. Of course, we're seeing a lot of business email compromise scams as well. And as I mentioned before, as technology continues to evolve, right, we need to make sure not only that we are mitigating the risk that existed, right, that we need to, but also risk and as we change maybe how we make payments. And so it's incredibly important that we look to AI to help us in the accounts payable front. So a few of the ways that we can do that. It can automatically identify patterns and anomalies in financial transactions. Some of the things, duplicate invoices or payments. This is a really important one. Unusual vendor behavior. So where that happens, is it the amounts? Is it the number? Is it the pricing? Right. I talked about the amounts, and so anything that is out of normal, it's going to automatically flag those things for you. And so as the AI learns the behavior of your suppliers, it learns as it goes and sees certain things are happening, why they're not happening, red flags. There's a lot of research out there. There's an awful lot of companies that still deal with duplicate invoices and payments go out the door. And we need that way to track that unusual vendor behavior. And it also helps us track unusual behavior. Internal fraud is very important as well. So if there's changes being made to banking records and amounts and things, anything to go on banking information, that's important. AI can help in all those ways. So just some of the benefits, right, that you can see helps you just get that business case in your mind. If you're looking at an AP automation solution, you want to go to the CFO. This helps you make your business case, right? It creates a formal, customized purchasing process. Again, removes those bottlenecks. It automates spending controls by product, department, vendor, detects those anomalies there. It can prevent unapproved purchases it allows you to automate your policies and make sure those policies are being followed and prevent some duplicate data entry. So a lot of the sources of fraud that we're seeing in the controls, right, that we want to have in place, those are automated, and it's going to increase security and minimize the risk of fraud. So how to stand out, right, against AI and accounts payable. This is just kind of the myth versus reality. People think AI is going to eliminate accounting jobs. I've already kind of talked about that a little bit. In fact, it's going to really allow AP professionals to redefine their value proposition. So it's kind of a once in a generation opportunity for AP professionals to take a more strategic role in managing those supplier relationships in terms of controlling the type and timing of those relationships and identifying maybe potentials in vendor management. And so what I've seen the last 3 years in my data is that there are not, it's not eliminating accounting jobs. There's actually accounting jobs being added, AP jobs being added as people start to see the strategic value that is there, the skill sets that people have always possessed, but they haven't had time with that. And so what does AI do? It empowers you, right, to take care of your tedious tasks, time consuming, right? It allows you to analyze and interpret financial data to make inferences. Again, we want data-driven decisions. We want to eliminate asymmetries of information within AP and also with our suppliers. It empowers strategic decisions. It allows us to communicate key insights to stakeholders. We have the data, we have the reporting, allows us to build relationships, and we're going to be able to build those relationships not only internally, but with our suppliers as well. So all of those are incredibly important. So I've gotten a lot of the theory, talked about all the great stuff that AI can do.